evening, everyone. I want to welcome you all and thank you so much for taking the hour this evening to honor Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, or WILPF as we all lovingly call it. At our 110th anniversary, WILPF at 110, Vision Action Unstoppable. My name is Eva Egozi, and I will happily be your host for this evening. I myself started my own WILPF branch here in Miami, Florida, as the first Florida branch of the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. I was only a sophomore in high school, and now I've been brought up in this branch of WILPF and the international organization overall into this panel and community of women excited to be leaders in our communities and excited to rise up as women in bringing and forwarding peace movements. Last month, I actually had the opportunity to attend the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women meetings in New York City with other WILPF women. Please just take a moment to go ahead and write in the chat where you're coming from, your branch, and if you are a WILPFer or your affiliation if you are not, and then go ahead and add your partner organization, or if you're simply just a supporter and are just here on the Zoom meeting. This evening, we're going to hear from some of our own amazing WILPFers about the history and impact of WILPF, our current WILPF programming and events, and we're also happily going to feature the arts, both music and spoken words. We will hear from some of our descendants of our WILPF founding leaders who are pioneers for peace and social justice. One of the women I love to hear about in WILPF and who initially got me so excited about the organization itself was Jane Addams, who was actually labeled a dangerous woman in a memo that was sent to the FBI. We all laugh because we know Jane Addams, like we are doing today, was simply advocating for peace, human rights, and other justice issues, all non-violently. And through public education and advocating to politicians, she was able to forward movements for peace. In honoring this WILPF activist spirit who consistently spoke truth to power, tonight we will give out 2 inaugural Vision Action Unstoppable Awards to our featured speakers this evening, Ellen Thomas and Lisa Graves. And finally, we have happily put together an amazing, fun montage of WILPF supporters far and wide that will salute us in reaching its 110 years. Yet, let's still promise to keep in mind that tonight is not only about celebrating and educating everyone about our work, but it is also to raise the necessary funding to make WILPF sustainable for the next 110 years. So please, go ahead and see the text to donate and or the donate link that's been placed in the chat, and please donate what you can to keep WILPF strong for the next 110 years. So, to start us off, let's hear from Emma's Revolution. Known for fearless, truth-telling lyrics and melodies you can't resist singing, Emma's Revolution is the award-winning activist duo of Pat Humphries and Sandy O, whose songs have been praised by Pete Seeger, covered by Holly Near, and sung at justice events around the world. The duo says, "We live in a tumultuous time of wars and refugees, authoritarians, and threats to democracy. Music helps us find our voices and brings us together to create a more just and sustainable world." Here they are with their powerful song, Our People Gonna Rise.
Our people gonna rise.
Our people gonna rise.
Our people gonna rise. Listen to our cries through the pain and lies. Our people gonna rise. Our people gonna sing.
Our people gonna sing.
Our people gonna sing. In spite of everything, hear our freedom ring. Our people gonna sing. Our people gonna fight. Our people gonna fight. For what we know is right. We're marching to the night. Our people gonna fight. Our people gonna breathe.
Our people gonna breathe.
Our people gonna breathe. Whatever you believe, we have the right to breathe. Our people gonna breathe. Our people gonna pray.
Our people gonna pray.
Our people gonna pray. Take our rights away, see you on election day. Our people gonna pray. Our people gonna rise.
Our people gonna rise.
Our people gonna rise. Listen to our cries through the pain and lies. Our people gonna rise.
Our
People gonna rise. Our people gonna rise.
Our people
Gonna rise. Our people gonna rise.
Thank you, Emma's Revolution. That was truly inspiring. You have written a powerful song that embodies what WILPF has been working towards for the past 110 years. Now, for all of us, in paying tribute to WILPF on this 110th anniversary, let's remember the incredible impact we have had over the years. Here is a short presentation encapsulating some of the highlights of our legacy.
WILPF's roots began on April 28, 1915, during World War I. Bold visionary women came together and said there has to be a better way. Social reformer and co-founder of the Hull House, Jane Addams, led the charge. From day one, we've lived our values: vision, action, unstoppable. We're a global grassroots feminist peace organization. We stand up for peace, justice, and freedom, not just as ideas, but lived realities. It means showing up, strategizing, organizing, advocating. We center on women's leadership, nonviolence, community power, and sustainable futures. Back to the beginning, 1915, women from 12 countries met at The Hague, even as war raged. 47 U.S. women boarded the Nordam, including Jane Addams and Emily Green Balch. They wrote resolutions, met with leaders of warring nations, and in 1919 they met again in Zurich, where they officially adopted the name Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. By 1921, we had 25 national sections or participating countries. We made waves. The FBI called Jane Addams the most dangerous woman in America. We took that as a compliment. In 1931, she won the Nobel Peace Prize, first American woman ever. Still makes us proud. During World War II, WILPF actively opposed fascism, the genocide of the Jews, Japanese internment, and the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In 1946, Emily Green Balch, economist sociologist, became the second WILPFer to win the Nobel Peace Prize for her work on peace and poverty. We helped shape the League of Nations, which later became the UN, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and the Geneva Conventions. In 1948, we became the first women's peace organization granted UN consultative status. We marched with Dr. King. He was a member, along with his wife, Coretta Scott King, and Jane Fonda, Joanne Woodward, and Alice Walker. We challenged the Vietnam War, traveling to both North and South Vietnam. And in 1971, we launched our Peace and Freedom magazine. We've also used art, posters, buttons, stickers to spread our peace and justice messages. In 1982, we launched our signature STAR campaign, Stop the Arms Race. WILPF sections worldwide gathered signatures urging NATO to cancel deployment of Pershing missiles. That same year, WILPFer Alva Myrdal, the Swedish sociologist and diplomat, won the Nobel Peace Prize for her peace work. That's 3 Nobels for WILPF: vision, action, unstoppable. In 1983, we helped found the Women's Peace Encampment at Seneca. In 1985, we launched the Women's Budget, proposing less for weapons and more for care, and we published our principles and policies. We dug into the roots of inequality, like the Powell Memo, and the concept of corporate personhood, partnering with groups like the Poor People's Campaign. We've stood up for reproductive rights, democracy, and clean water, warning about PFAS contamination early on. We've promoted the Nuclear Weapons Abolition and Conversion Act with Representative Eleanor Holmes Norton and the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons. In 2017, we won the Nobel Peace Prize again, Ray Atchison of Reaching Critical Will, part of the international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons. That's 4 Nobels, just saying. We've worked with women across the DMZ for peace in Korea and defended immigrants' rights at every turn. We recently lost Edith Ballantyne, former Secretary General, International President, and a legend. She lived to 102 and never lost her fire. Today, we're in 40-plus countries. The U.S. section is one of the biggest, with dozens of branches nationwide. We gather online, in person, and every 3 years at congresses, national and international. We're part of a global peace family. For 110 years, we've shown up, long after others gave up. We're still here, still standing, and acting for a better world. But let's be real, the world is in crisis. Fascism's rising, wars grind on, the planet's in peril, rights are under attack. So here's our ask. Support us like you want us to win. Whether you're a longtime WILPFer or hearing about us for the first time, please celebrate our impactful 110-year history and support our next 110 years. Stand with us. Be vision, be action, be unstoppable.
I think it's genuinely evident here how WILPF has worked to revolutionize peace movements over time. We have done so much, and we are continuing to make these incredible strides, even in these unprecedented times. That is why I'm particularly excited to introduce you to our new vision taking shape at WILPF with our newest leadership, our new executive director and 2 new co-presidents. First, we will hear from our new executive director, Linda Lowe. Linda has been a proven leader serving membership organizations and mobilizing allies in shared action. Her education and experience have positioned her as a subject matter expert in peacebuilding and conflict resolution at the intersection of women's political power. Some of her rich experiences she brings to WILPF US include being the chair of the board of directors at Build to Lead, the founder and past president of Rotary Club of Global Partners in Peace, the citywide HR communications manager for the city of Seattle during the COVID-19 pandemic, the director of social impact at APCO Worldwide, and the Duke UNC Rotary Peace Fellow and founder of Leadership Dialogues. Linda holds a Master of International Development Policy from Duke University. Hi, Linda. How are you feeling tonight?
I am so thrilled to be with all of you this evening. As you can see, I've got the party started behind me to celebrate 110 years of world-changing work at the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. Throughout history, WILPF has mobilized with feminist leaders like our founder, Jane Addams, Lola Maverick Lloyd, Coretta Scott King, and so many more passionate people like you and me in communities doing grassroots, groundbreaking work to drive change. We are the U.S. section of the global WILPF network, active in 40 countries around the world. And in this moment we're in, I am so proud to know that WILPF is one of the rare voices that will not back down on hard issues. WILPF women, WILPF allies, I honor all that you have done and will continue to do. Marching in streets, writing to elected officials, and mobilizing communities. I am committed to doing this important work with you as we tackle the challenges that we must face together to meet this moment. In this 110th year anniversary, WILPF stands on the shoulders of giants that came before us, and we build on your legacy. Every one of you that has joined us today or are celebrating in your communities. I am talking about people like Lucy, second-generation WILPF woman in Durham, Margaret, college student in New York who joined WILPF earlier this year, Lucille, in Bloomington, Illinois, who has been mobilizing with WILPF for 5 years. I name these women, I call them out, who like you, like all of us gathered today, remain focused on the work. Together, we are the foundation that holds WILPF up, and we will continue to drive change. I know these are overwhelming times, and I know we must also hold on to joy. And so today, we gather in joy to celebrate. We celebrate the past and we look forward to the future, to the next 110 years of action together. And in this 110th year, I'm very excited to say that we have two new co-presidents, Martha Collins and Shilpa Pandey. I have the pleasure of introducing one of our co-presidents, Martha Collins now, who will speak next. Martha is an extraordinary woman. She's a coalition builder with a deep commitment to mobilizing communities and leaders. For more than 20 years, she's been organizing at the grassroots level, advocating for policy change, mobilizing people and allies to drive voter turnout, legislative progress, and so much more. She has held leadership roles at Feeding America, the Center for Progressive Leadership, just to name a few, and she currently serves as National Council Representative with the United Nations Association USA and is an active member of the UNA Women Affinity Group, advocating for gender equality always. It is my deep pleasure to pass the microphone on to our co-president, Martha Collins. Martha, over to you.
As the new co-president of the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, it is an incredible honor to stand here before you today as we celebrate the 110th anniversary of this groundbreaking organization. My vision is to continue building on this rich legacy by fostering a world where peace is not just the absence of conflict, but the presence of justice, equality, and opportunity for all. I envision a future where women lead the way in changing and shaping policies that protect human rights, promote sustainability, and bridge divides. Together, we will strengthen our global network, amplify the voices of those marginalized, and relentlessly pursue the principles of peace and freedom that have been the heart of WILPF for over a century now. In solidarity, we can build a world where future generations inherit a planet grounded in peace, justice, and lasting freedom for all. Thank you for your trust and support as we embark on this next chapter together. And now, I would like to introduce Shilpa Pandey. She holds a Master's of Business Administration in Information Systems and Human Resources Management. Shilpa has 15 plus years of experience, international experience, including roles at Dell and the United Nations Development Program. A former national TV presenter in India, she covers social and development issues. Now based in the US, Shilpa leads public sector information technology projects, as well as serves on her city's library board. Shilpa also is active in Freedom Network USA, advocating against human trafficking. Without further ado, here's Shilpa.
Well, thank you, Martha, for the introduction. I look forward to working with you as a co-president and the rest of the membership. I look forward to working with them. And as WILPF celebrates 110 years of its existence, I am reminded of all of the icons and pioneers that have gone before me, the pioneers who led the feminist-led peace movement, who struggled before us. And I'm reminded that the journey has not ended. The journey continues as we continue to engage with women from diverse communities and make sure that WILPF is here for the next 110 years. And as a co-president, I look forward to leading WILPF in this important time. And I encourage you and I invite you to join us in this movement of nonviolent ways to achieve peace. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for all of our new leadership. I'm definitely really excited for the years to come in WILPF. And now let's go ahead and turn to featuring some of the great work that WILPF is currently doing through our issue committees, CSW, and our recent triennial Congress.
Happy 110th anniversary, WILPF. I am Julie Kabukanyi, co-chair of WILPF's Advancing Human Rights Committee. Our committee is rooted in WILPF's enduring mission to advance peace and justice by defending and promoting human rights at the federal, state, and local levels. We often work collaboratively with other organizations and WILPF committees. Our subcommittees focus on border and migration justice, ending mass incarceration and the death penalty, housing justice, the UN Decade for People of African Descent and Reparations, minerals fuel wars in Africa. We welcome everyone to join us in this vital work. Together, let's continue building a more just and peaceful world. Thank you and happy anniversary.
Hi, this is Lenny Gomez Reeves, co-chair with Cindy Domingo of the Cuba and the Bolivarian Alliance Committee. We uplift and defend the Cuban example of rights for all, especially including women and LGBTQI plus people and non-white people, and of education, healthcare, and the struggle against racial colonial capitalism. And we connect this with women and others here in the U.S., so we'll all understand why the power of a good example is so threatening to the U.S. government, and why we must defend Cuba and other countries that struggle to be free. Congratulations, WILPF, on our 110th anniversary.
Hello, this is Cheryl Spencer, one of the 3 co-chairs of the Disarm End Wars Issue Committee of WILPF US. I'm here to tell you about our mission, which we have been doing. We're the longest committee, and we have been following this mission for the last 50 or so years. We work for a nuclear-free future by eliminating all nuclear weapons and phasing out nuclear and fossil fuel energy. We develop resources to educate the public about the importance of moving the money from weapons and war to carbon-free, nuclear-free energy and other crucial societal needs. We are a big committee. We have 25 active members, and we have 12 ongoing campaigns, and we welcome new members. We meet twice a month, and we hope that this 110th anniversary brings us into a newer, more peaceful world. Thank you.
What an amazing thing to be a part of WILPF's 110th anniversary. Congratulations, WILPF. My name is Steve Murphy. I am founder and co-chair of the Domestic Prisoners of War Issue Committee, which is the latest issue committee in WILPF. In DPAL, we believe that peace begins at home, and the focus of our work is on eradicating the ills, societal ills, caused by domestic abuse and domestic violence. If you would like to work with us, we have a number of subcommittees that you can join, and our address is nomordepals@wilpfus.org. Thank you very much, and once again, congratulations, WILPF.
Congratulations on our 110th anniversary from Nancy Price and Jean Hayes, co-chairs of the Earth Democracy Committee. We all are members of the Earth community, so join with us to challenge corporate power and rule by the 1% and to protect Mother Earth and the ecosystems on which all life depends. We educate, mobilize, and take action on the human right to water and health, including PFAS forever chemicals, devastating impact on human health, on climate justice, women, and peace, including how militarism and war contaminate the environment, and on food sovereignty, regenerative agriculture, and indigenous knowledge for actions to support the human right to health and safe food. Join us to create educational materials, actions, events, signs, banners, and more. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jan Korteman, and on behalf of the Middle East Peace and Justice Action Committee, I'm sending congratulations to WILPF on its 110th year of feminist peace building. Happy anniversary. MEPJAC's focus is to organize WILPF members to speak up for everyone in the Middle East. We challenge the narrative on the Israel-Palestine conflict a narrative which favors Israel's claim in defining the conflict, a narrative that has led to a biased U.S. policy. We have given Israel billions of dollars in military assistance for the horrific bombings in Gaza and assaults in the West Bank and Lebanon. Jeannie Silver of the MEPJAC Committee leadership team offers timely news from the region, along with quick steps to act now. Watch for news about our upcoming webinar featuring a showing of exception about the fierce battle for academic freedom on our college campuses. I'll close by thanking you for your work to build public support for the human and sovereign rights of the Palestinians. Let's continue to put pressure on U.S. policymakers to support a just peace throughout the region. Thank you.
Happy 110th anniversary, WILPF, from the members of the Women, Money, and Democracy Committee. I'm Mary Beth Gardam. Our committee focuses on economic justice, especially as it affects women and families. Our projects include public banking for the common good, the history of big money oligarchs purchasing our democracy, and ways to stop them, monetary reform to reject debt-based currency, and feminist economics to inform women that they really are at the center of our economy and explain how it affects them and how they can protect themselves. We educate ourselves and then prepare to take our knowledge out into the wider world to inform our friends and neighbors and to actively advocate for meaningful change. Join us. Happy anniversary, WILPF, and here's to another 100 years of solidarity and feminist activism. Yay! What an amazing Congress we had in 2024. My name is Steve Murphy. I was Congress Coordinator for WILPF's 35th Triennial Congress, and it was such an honor to meet so many amazing people that informed and educated us across the spectrum about so much work that's going on so many different levels to maintain and preserve our planet's most precious resource, our water. Really looking forward to following up with Earth Democracy and all the many organizations that we aligned with for this Congress. And if you have an opportunity, please go to WILPF US's website, look for the 35th Triennial Congress, and you will be amazed at how much work people are doing and their tenacity and perseverance. And if you have any questions, please email Congress Coordinator at wilpfus.org if there's someone there that you'd like to work with, or you can't find their contact information. Thanks once again, WILPF. And thank you for 110 years of awesome work.
WILPF's Commission on the Status of Women programs. The CSW is the global intergovernmental body dedicated to promoting gender equality and empowering women. And drafted the CEDAW, the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, an international UN treaty aimed at protecting and improving women's rights. The U.S. has signed but never ratified this treaty. Every spring, WILPF US sends two groups of CSW delegates, younger activists in our UN practicum and advocacy, and more seasoned WILPF members who participate in our Local to Global program. Here is our 2025 WILPF panel reflecting on Beijing Plus 30. Now let's hear from a younger activist who participated in WILPF's practicum and advocacy.
Hey all, my name is Cecile van Eijk. I am originally from the Netherlands, but I'm a student at Kent State University in Ohio. I study international relations and peace and conflict studies, so therefore having this amazing past and being at the United Nations is just an incredible, amazing opportunity for me, and I am so thankful that I'm able to be here.
While our work is something that we should surely celebrate and be proud of, WILPF has so much more courageous work to be done. Now remember, WILPF needs your support, and we strongly encourage you to text the number to donate or follow the link listed in the chat to donate. We thank you so much for keeping the courageous work of WILPF moving forward and alive and supporting our new leadership with your generous donations. So now, WILPF has always stood at the forefront of inspiring work put on by fearless activists, and tonight we are particularly excited to present our inaugural Vision Action Unstoppable Awards. Ellen Thomas is a full-time volunteer peace and justice activist since 1984 and is also the co-chair of WILPF US's Disarm End Wars Committee and the director of the Proposition 1 campaign. In 1990, she co-founded the Proposition 1 committee with her late husband, William Thomas, where they advocated tirelessly for nuclear abolition and war conversion. Their efforts actually led to DC's Initiative 37, which has inspired legislation introduced in Congress since 1994. As a tireless advocate, Ellen has spoken internationally, reported on World Court hearings, and edited Nuke News since 1998. She helped maintain the White House Peace Park Vigil for nearly 2 decades, enduring legal battles and even imprisonment to defend First Amendment rights. She has also supported the homeless, served on the Washington Peace Center board, and documented activism through her writing, photography, and film. Now, as she works with WILPF, she has continued to fight for a more equitable and nuclear-free world, saying she cannot think of anything she would rather be doing than making the world safer for our children. For all of these reasons, WILPF US is incredibly proud to award our inaugural Vision Action Unstoppable Award to Ellen Thomas as she presents the spirit of WILPF. Ellen, we are so incredibly thankful and in awe of your important peace activism over many decades. Congratulations.
It was such a surprise to hear that I've been selected to receive a Vision Action and Unstoppable Award. Thank you so much. I've always felt blessed to be with WILPF, ever since Carol Erner recruited me in 2004, and to be co-chair of the Disarm End Wars Committee since 2008. So much impresses me about WILPF's longevity and peace activism. Amazing women working to end war, helping to establish the United Nations, organizing branches all over the world and the United States, providing support for civil and human rights, clean water and air, and my own passion, disarmament and peace on earth. I love that WILPF is an active member of the international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons, which won the Nobel Peace Prize. I've been asked to tell you something about my life. For almost 2 decades before joining WILPF, I vigiled with others day and night outside the White House for a world without nuclear weapons, using signs, literature, and petitions. We collected flyers and newsletters, letters, photos, and videos from all over the world, many of which are now archived at the Swarthmore Digital Peace Collection. I was arrested for vigiling multiple times between 1984 and 1992. In 88, I spent 3 months in federal prison charged with camping, but I went right back and kept on for another 14 years, seeking creative new ways to get our message across. In 1990, we incorporated Proposition 1 Committee to bring a voter initiative to DC, calling on the U.S. and then USSR to abolish nuclear weapons and use the money instead for human needs. Just as we started to get signatures, the Gulf War began in 91. We and many others beat on drums for the 40 days and 40 nights until the war stopped. Many people were arrested. I wasn't. I had a video camera and filmed those arrests, then produced a film, The Ground War at Home, which you can find linked at the bottom of our website, prop1.org. After the war, we launched successful DC Initiative 37, which inspired Eleanor Holmes Norton to introduce her Nuclear Weapons Abolition and Conversion Act every session since 1994. That's 17 times now. The bill this session is H.R. 1888. It asks the U.S. to sign the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons and transform nuclear war and power industries to produce carbon-free, nuclear-free energy and other human needs, like environmental restoration. Between 2009 and 2019, with help from WILPF mini-grants and friends, I toured the country 4 times to tell WILPF branches about Congresswoman Norton's bill and visited local congressional offices with WILPF members. We obtained several co-sponsors. but we need many more co-sponsors before we can get it out of the Armed Services and Foreign Affairs committees. And we need senators to introduce a companion bill. After the UN adopted the ban treaty in 2017, a coalition called Warheads to Windmills campaign has sought co-sponsors for the bill with considerable success. I'm so grateful that others have stepped up to help. It may seem impossible to accomplish nuclear disarmament or anything else with this administration and Congress, but we mustn't give up. In fact, we should all become more vocal, more visible, more creative, more patient, and more helpful to others who are afraid or angry or depressed. We're fortunate these days to have social media, smartphones, Zoom, and email to communicate. We don't have to sit in one place around the clock anymore to reach out to people. However, I do recommend consistent vigils where people will get used to seeing you and come talk with you. And I strongly recommend local voter initiatives, which let politicians know that their constituents want them to take action. Above all, don't give up. Again, many thanks for this award, which makes me a WILPF member for life. I love it.
Thank you so much, Ellen. That was so incredibly inspiring, and we appreciate all you have done and continue to do. Before we go ahead and present our next Vision Action Unstoppable Award, I just want to note that arts, singing, poetry, spoken word, dance, and comedy have all been an integral part of our history at WILPF. Particularly since in the founding of the Whole House, the settlement house which Jane Addams co-founded, the arts were central to their mission in fostering peace and equity. I am pleased now to present a mesmerizing spoken word artist, Britt Nicole. Britt is a Milwaukee-based spoken word artist, community healer, musician, and facilitator who hosts Lyrical Sanctuary at UWM and has performed at venues from Poetry Unplugged, the Marcus Center, and Broken Genius. A teaching artist with the Milwaukee Opera Theater since 2023, she centers healing, creativity, and reflection in her works. Britt is the 2022 Shepherd Express Best Local Author and the creator of Moods, Melanin, and Magic album Nocturnal Butterfly and the short film Soulmate. Please welcome me in welcoming Britt.
Hello, my name is Britt Nicole, and my poem is called We Are One. We are one. One together, in shambles, in times of sorrow. We hold each other up in love and accountability and understanding. We the people, be kinfolk, be magic, be light. A masterpiece full of beautiful pieces blended together, a melting pot full of stories, backgrounds, journeys, hardships, and triumphs. You see, we live to tell the story because someone needs our story to live. So we show up when it is hard to breathe, to process, to pray, to believe that we deserve to be seen, heard, and valued, stitched together through moments like this in communion. We sip from each other's shared thoughts, toasting to all of the storms that we have overcome as we prepare for all the things we have yet to encounter. Because everything that we need to be successful in this life already dwells on the inside. So we remind ourselves that we are not alone in this. For there is someone who sheds tears behind the same narrative you hold. So we take solace in knowing that we are not alone, for we are one together in this moment. So when we depart from this space in hopes of finding ourselves in the reflection of those we just met, like first Sunday when the spirit is high and we rejoice in this holy land that we created. This is sanctuary, where we can be uncomfortable and comforted at the same time. Listening to understand that will move us into a compromise where we stand 10 toes down in our authenticity and never apologize for being passionate and giving our all to the cause when others offer much less. I am alive in this moment. There is a shifting in this place. God is here. in this moment is better than I ever imagined. I am grateful. I am with you. And remember to pick up your bravery and step out of your comfort zone, because you are chosen. So every day, choose to show up in this life fully human, full of flaws and curiosity, wonder and willingness, purposed, harvesting limitless power, knowing that you were created for more than just a moment that you exist in.
Thank you so much, Britt. That was incredibly powerful. I mean, I have goosebumps, but without further ado, I'm also very proud to present our other inaugural Vision Action Unstoppable Award to what we like to call at WILPF our Shiro, Lisa Graves. Lisa is the founder and executive director of True North Research, a national investigative watchdog group that works with journalists and other researchers to help shine a brighter light on the dark money that fuels regressive agendas. Graves is one of the nation's foremost experts in exposing how special interests distort public policy and try to thwart the public's interests in a thriving and inclusive democracy. From 2009 to 2017, Lisa Graves led the Center for Media and Democracy and is currently the president of its board of directors. She is a frequent guest on MSNBC, CNN, the BBC, The Laura Flanders Show, and Democracy Now! Her op-eds have been published by the New York Times, The Guardian, Time, Slate, and The Hill. Her investigations have been featured in Ava DuVernay's Oscar-nominated documentary, The 13th, and in a PBS documentary narrated by Bill Moyers entitled The United States of Alec. Her research has been cited in critically acclaimed books, including Dark Money by Jane Mayer, Democracy in Chains by Nancy MacLean, and others. Lisa earned a JD cum laude from Cornell Law School, where she was a managing editor of the Cornell Law Review, and a BS with the highest honors in political science from the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse, where she was an award-winning college debater. Thank you and congratulations, Lisa Graves.
Congratulations to the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom on 110 years of courageous activism and advocacy for peace, human rights, voting and democracy, and environmental and economic justice. I am so pleased to join others in congratulating this organization that envisions a transformed world at peace, where there is racial, social, and economic justice for all people everywhere, a world in which the needs of all people are met in a fair and equitable manner, where all people equally participate in making the decisions that affect them, where the interconnected web of life is acknowledged and celebrated in diverse ways and communities, and where human societies are designed and organized for sustainable existence. I first encountered WILPF when I met Mary Beth Gardem and George Friday as we were working together to respond to the U.S. Supreme Court's coming decision back then in a case called Citizens United. In 2009, I had the joy of meeting Mary Beth and Lisa and other activists across the country who were concerned about what the U.S. Supreme Court was going to do and organized around what it did to respond to this terrible 5-4 decision by the U.S. Supreme Court to unleash a tsunami of outside cash into our elections, to influence our elections by billionaires. And that work to fight back against Citizens United continues. And I am so proud of the work that WILPF does and has done on these and other issues. I'm just an ordinary person who has devoted my life's work, my mission, to help protect people's individual rights, to help stand up to the powerful and expose their corruption. And that work has only increased over the past several years, and this year in particular. Howard Zinn, the great historian, said, "To be hopeful in bad times is not just foolishly romantic. It is based on the fact that human history is a history not only of cruelty, but also of compassion, sacrifice, courage, and kindness. What we choose to emphasize in this complex history will determine our lives. And if we see only the worst, it destroys our capacity to do something. If we remember those times and places, and there are so many, where people have behaved magnificently, this gives us the energy to act and at least the possibility of sending this spinning top of a world in a different direction. And if we do act, in however small a way, We don't have to wait for some grand utopian future. The future is an infinite succession of presents, and to live now as we think human beings should live, in defiance of all that is bad around us, is itself a marvelous victory. Also, as the great labor organizer and reformer who helped transform bold ideas like Social Security and ending child labor into reality, Frances Perkins said many things, one of which was, "There is always a large horizon and there is much to be done. It is up to you to contribute some small part to a program of human betterment for all time." Now, the mission of WILPF is so serious, especially in these times, because to desire peace, to wish for the happiness and health of one's family, to seek a secure and safe life, this is as one of my teachers taught me, these are the shared sentiments of ordinary human beings everywhere, even in countries that are helmed by people animated by greed, anger, and stupidity. People were not born into this world to harm or hate one another. Many philosophies teach that, but instead to love and help one another and help us thrive through building resilient communities despite the evil and reckless ambitions of a tiny few. War is abhorrent and cruel and unfathomably destructive, but it is caused by people. Therefore, it is also up to the people whether we will create a world of peace. That is the challenge that has been entrusted to each individual alive today, to create a world of peace and justice. And that is the embodiment of the mission of WILPF, in my view. Now is the time that we must call for peace, we must demand peace, we must urge our neighbors to do the same, to stop the destructive folly we are seeing and more. Because, as another great hero of mine, Frederick Douglass, said, power concedes nothing without demand. It never did, and it never will. We must remember day by day that progress is possible. Those are my words, although I think they're the heart of my mentors. The future is still unwritten. It is ours to make if we have hope. And as Howard Zinn observed, hope is the energy for change. Choosing hope is essential, even when the odds seem stacked against us, I say. Indeed, that is when we must employ hope, grit, and creativity most of all. So congratulations to WILPF on its 110th anniversary. I have deep appreciation for the organization and its talented volunteers and all you are doing to advance peace and justice. Here's to using the challenges, the grave challenges we are facing right now, as fuel to build a broad foundation for peace and justice and transform the 21st century into a century of peace and justice here and around the world. Thank you so much.
We are so incredibly thankful to have the ability to honor Lisa Graves. Her dedication to activism through her journalistic works truly exemplify why I think we as women stand here today and why WILPF's history of peace and social justice are relevant to today. We've also been reaching out recently to many of the living descendants of our founding mothers and leaders, and letting them know about this 110th anniversary to engage them with WILPF's most recent work. Next up is one of our descendants who has discussed the thrill of finding out more about her grandmother's contributions.
Hello, I am Annette Robertson, the third generation and lifelong member of WILPF. In the year 1915, Annette Roberts, my grandmother, marched in Chicago with Jane Addams and other suffragettes. Annette was a charter member of WILPF at the founding in 1915. Jane Addams was president of the new WILPF USA. In 1919, the suffragettes, including WILPF members, helped pass the right to vote for women, the 19th Amendment. Annette Roberts was a pacifist, a lifelong member and advocate for WILPF into her 80s. Her daughter, my mother, Joan Robertson, also a lifelong member, joined WILPF in 1940 after college. Joan went to 2 conventions with my grandmother. Mother remembers the executive director of WILPF, Dorothy Detzer, during the 1930s and 40s. Dorothy was a dynamo, Mom said, and she left an indelible impression on my mother. I joined WILPF shortly after college in 1980. My daughter Carol joined WILPF in 2015 as a college graduate and young mother. Carol and I attended the 100th anniversary of WILPF International and USA at The Hague in Holland in May 2015. A group of 4 members from the Milwaukee branch attended and advocated for women's rights and their place at the table in every country for policy change, peace, and decision making. 900 women from all over the world came to the meeting, and many were honored. Among the women honored were the founding and charter members, along with my grandmother, Jane Addams and Eleanor Roosevelt, and many other courageous women leaders of our country and internationally. It was a lifetime experience attending the 100th anniversary in that May of 2015, and it changed us forever. Thank you, WILPF, and thank you to our foremothers and founding members.
Hi, my name is Karen Bolden. My grandmother, Marjorie Hanson Matson, was an early member of WILPF. Grandma was born in 1913 in Iowa and was orphaned at age 10 and moved to Pittsburgh to be raised by her Auntie Nell in 1925. She was raised on Jane Addams' thoughts. My Auntie Nell was a social worker who came from Chicago, and Grandma was very much influenced by this. In 1932, she joined WILPF while a student at the University of Pittsburgh. Grandma went on to law school, and she continued her membership in WILPF all the way through her entire life up until her passing in 1980. She was a lawyer before her time. She fought to use her maiden name. That was not successful. She fought to have the newspaper ads not say women help wanted and men help wanted. She went to the Supreme Court several times with key issues. It was that my grandmother wasn't just a member of the organization, but she was actively involved in this, as she was with the ACLU and many other civil liberties organizations during her time. I'm inspired by my family, both the current family and past, and they inspire me to get involved and not just send my check.
Hello, I'm here with my grandmother, Lola Maverick Lloyd, and we're celebrating the 110th anniversary of the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. And believe it or not, she was 40 years old when she crossed the Atlantic and tried to stop World War I and helped to found WILPF. Thank you, Lola.
I think this now brings us to a wonderful transition into the revolution that is arts, and most specifically music. We are excited to now present the visionary singer and songwriter, Leah Morris. Leah was born in Washington, D.C. to a father who toured the world as a trumpeter in a funk band and a mother who dreamed of singing in the opera. Leah herself began singing in the Baptist church as soon as she could talk. Having shared the stage with the likes of Odetta and Mavis Staples, Leah has returned to her own roots, composing songs for choirs in Braunschweig, Germany, where she currently lives. Here, performing her inspiring and most greatest song, Greatest Days, please welcome Leah Morris.
We are living in a strange time. We are living in amazing times. We are living in the greatest days of all time. Can you feel your mother calling? Can you feel your spirit echo her? That we are living in the greatest days there ever were. Way out in the distance, in the dust somewhere, the same old mission, same red clay in his hair. And he's been haunting the same sacred ground for round about 1,000,000 years now. He is living in a strange time, and he is living in amazing times. He is living in the greatest days of all time. But he can feel an era shifting in spite of all the pain that came before. He is living in the greatest days there ever were. Now you just stand by, yeah, you stay tuned. Somebody's gonna land my sister on the moon, and she's gonna wave down from on high and make this whole world cry. 'Cause she is living in a strange time. She is living in amazing times. She is living in the greatest days of all time. And can you see what we're becoming? Everything we've been and so much more. We are living in the greatest days there ever were. May I call you sweetheart? Am I losing touch? Black mask, don't ask, yet he always still are. Still haven't changed that much. Do you think we're gonna make it? Will we outgrow the hate, the greed, the war? Can we grow into our greatness? Everything that we were brought here for, to find we're living in the greatest days there ever were. You and I are in the greatest days there ever were. We are privy to the greatest days there ever were. So let's go out and make the greatest days there ever were.
Thank you so much, Leah, for sharing your love and passion with your words with us. Your voice is absolutely beautiful, and that song shows us the greatest days are truly coming, and we're in the greatest days. I think Leah's words are also a staunch reminder that we cannot create the greatest days of WILPF all alone. So remember, to meet the challenges of this time and raise the necessary funding to make WILPF sustainable for the next 110 years, we kindly ask you to see the text to donate and the donate link placed in the chat. Please go ahead and donate whatever you can to keep WILPF strong for the next 110 years. And without further ado, to close out this evening, we have asked a lot of different folks, from WILPF branches to allies and our friends, to give WILPF a congratulatory shout out, wishing us a 110th happy anniversary. Please enjoy this super fun video montage of WILPF's well-wishers.
Congratulations, WILPF! From Boston!
Happy 110th anniversary, WILPF, from the Chicago branch.
Congratulations, WILPF! Okay.
Happy anniversary, WILPF, from the CSW delegation in New York City. Human rights. Yay.
Congratulations. Women's International League for Peace and Freedom.
On your 110th anniversary.
From the Detroit branch.
Peace.
Peace.
Congratulations,
WILPF. Congratulations.
Love the Jane Addams branch.
Lots of
love the Jane Addams branch.
Congratulations, WILPF. Hooray! Love from the Peninsula Palo Alto branch.
Congratulations.
Happy anniversary.
Congratulations.
110 years.
From Tucson
Thank you.
WILPF.
Tucson WILPF, yes.
Congratulations, WILPF. Yay!
Love from the Monterey County, California branch.
Happy 110th anniversary, Women's International League for Peace and Freedom.
We stand on the shoulders of Jane Addams, Mildred Scott Olmsted, Kay Camp, Marge Van Cleef, and Libby Frank. And Marilyn Clement with the legacy of the Philadelphia Race Street office that fostered so many activists.
Hello, Women's International League of Peace and Freedom. I'm Senator Ed Markey. You have a legacy. So here's to 110 years of hard work. You are historic in the role which you play in our country.
Congratulations, WILPF, on your 110th birthday from your allies at an economy of our own. Your call for economic justice, essential for peace and freedom, rings truer than ever in 2025. Thank you for your insisting that we are stronger together.
Happy anniversary, WILPF. I feel so blessed to be part of such a powerful movement of women fighting tooth and nail to make the world a better place.
Hi, I'm Pat Elder, and my dad was born on this day in Washington in 1917. And it's amazing to consider that WILPF had already been going on for a couple of years. So I salute the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. Thank you.
Hello and happy anniversary to the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. My name is Tamara Lawrence and I'm a member of WILPF Canada, and I am bringing best wishes and solidarity from all of the sisters across Canada. For decades, with courage and creativity, WILPF has centered feminist peace and disarmament for climate justice and environmental justice. WILPF knows that war and weapons are wrecking the earth, and we also know that we need to work together to protect the earth, our shared home. So let's unite to demilitarize, decarbonize, decolonize, and here's to another 110 years of WILPF. Peace.
Happy 110th anniversary to WILPF from the Des Moines branch. Woo!
Happy birthday, WILPF, from Pat Hines and Montague. May you have another 110 years of working for peace and freedom for people, especially women, and the planet.
Happy anniversary, WILPF. I'm Winona Howler with Food and Water Watch, working together for safe and affordable water for all.
Hey, I'm Jerry.
I'm Elizabeth.
We want to say congratulations and celebrate the anniversary of WILPF and the incredible work you're doing. Thank you.
Thanks.
Wow. I mean, I think in and of itself, that video truly embodies how wonderful it can feel to just celebrate and feel the love that is all around us, especially in the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom and the movement we've created as women here revolutionizing peace all around us. We have so many WILPF supporters here, and it's incredibly heartwarming to see that culminated. I want to thank you all again for all of the shout-outs, and to all of you at home. Thank you so much for attending our celebration of WILPF at 110, Vision Action Unstoppable. We can't thank you enough for all of your support. I hope that this night has especially proven in and of itself that the work that we as women have placed into WILPF is generational, and the love that we have in our hearts to peace and activism will live on for years to come. Please strongly consider texting to donate or using the donate link in the chat to keep that passion alive for another 110 years within WILPF. Again, thank you so much for being in attendance here tonight, and please feel free to join us in a moment or two for a very fun after party. Thank you, and good night, everybody.
Find your voice and
studio. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Eva. Thank you, all of our presenters, all of our performers, all of our shout outs and greeters. Welcome to the after party. I have a dance party happening in the room beside me. So if you're in Seattle, come on over. And I am overwhelmed by the warmth and authenticity and the herstory that was just shared throughout that hour, and it flew by. If I were to describe WILPF as a personality, how would I do that based on all the wonderful, amazing, strong, and bold women I've met? So what I did is I'm Chinese by ethnicity, and I Googled the year 1915 in the Chinese zodiac when WILPF was born, so to speak. And I discovered that in 1915, if you were born in 1915 like WILPF was, you were the year of the rabbit. And these are the qualities of the year of the rabbit: curious, high-spirited, silly, open, optimistic, imaginative, again, high-spirited. So I'd say that those words describe all of the WILPF women I've met. And I'm so grateful and honored to be moving forward with you into the next sort of 110 years. We're going to open it up to a little bit of fun conversation, some inspiring moments that we want to hear from you. But before we do that, I want to give another shout out to the descendants of historical WILPFers that are here today. At the top, if you dialed in at the very top, as people were joining, you would have met Sam Wheeler, descendant of Emily Green Balch. So hi, Sam and family. We're so excited that you're here and looking forward to continuing this conversation with you. And Kimi Hasagawa, descendant of former WILPF US President Marie Hasagawa. Thank you for joining us today. I hope that we're making your descendants, you and your descendants, proud. All that you've seen here, all the wonderful energy and world-changing work that's happening. I also know that there are some watch parties happening in Sacramento. So thank you for gathering in Sacramento IRL in real life. Beautiful. I know that in Dothan, Alabama, where Jeneve resides, she's got a drum dance party happening right now for this occasion. So thank you so much for coming together virtually and in person. And also thank you to every single one of you. At one point, there were 100 people here for donating and contributing to tonight's fundraiser. Your contribution, your generosity enables us to continue to do our work, to stand up for women's rights, human rights. I think it's safe to say we need WILPF now more than ever before. In the times we're in, I'm seeing a lot of nods. And your continued support now and in the future continues to enable us as WILPF to prepare for the future. There's more to come, which means we need more WILPF. We need to be ready today and tomorrow. And so you're also supporting a re-envisioning process that we're going through at WILPF to set us up for the next 110 years. You know, it means we have to keep doing the great things we're doing, and we also have to grow. We have to grow our membership. We have to bring our friends, our family, our aunts, uncles, our nieces, our nephews into WILPF with us and show up in different ways and in different places so we can have even more impact together. Part of this re-envisioning process, this series of dialogues that we're going to kick off throughout 2025 is, yes, remembering where we came from, our really deep history, which we've heard so much about today, and then deciding together where we want to go into the future. And so along those lines, we wanted to ask you a couple of questions. And this is going to be organized chaos because there's 63 people on this Zoom call. I can only see my own face right now because I'm spotlighted. So I'm going to need some help from our moderators. We have 3 questions that we want to put forward to you as part of looking back and looking to the future. And also, I'll put them in the chat. And what I'd like to invite you to do is either throw your hand up or volunteer to answer these 3 key questions as part of this after party. What WILPF woman has really inspired you? Looking back and looking today, what WILPF woman has really inspired you? We want to know these amazing stories of humans that have mobilized you to be here today. What do you love about WILPF? That's the second question. And what do you want for the future of WILPF and our world? These are big questions, but I invite anybody to step forward in the Zoom and answer any one of those three questions, because the collective wisdom here in the room is what's going to change the world.
So this is Barbara Nielsen from San Francisco, who's also the national treasurer, a woman who is no longer with us, unfortunately, whose name was Madeline Duckles from the Berkeley branch. She joined WILPF in 1948 and began to get a reputation for being a rowdy woman in support of WILPF all over the place. She traveled around the world working in WILPF. She talked about WILPF locally. I met her. I had never heard of anything as amazing as WILPF because of her. And she took a lot of her lead from Edith Ballantyne, who is no longer with us, and others of our members in making WILPF what it is today. And a day doesn't go by when I'm working on WILPF that I don't think of something that Madeline told me about. And so she has been my example for many decades.
Oh, that's gorgeous, Barbara. Thank you so much. Does anybody else have a WILPF woman that they want to shout out either in the past or today? And I'm seeing lots of amazing comments in the chat of WILPF women that have inspired you. I'm going to read some of them out. I think it's so important to call people out, you know, people who are really doing the work and not hitting the headlines. I'm going to randomly pick, and then I see Mary Hansen Harrison, raise your hand. Some names that you put forward: Mary Rose, Barbara Dragoo, Elizabeth Linder, historian Blanche Wyson Cook, some other names that are passing through here. And Mary Hansen Harrison, who do you want to, which question do you want to answer? Oh, I see two other. I don't know if Mary, are you trying to get off mute?
Mary, okay. There you go. I'd like to share with you the name of Yvonne Logan, who is one of our crucial, the two crucial women who helped us survive in difficult times by their largesse. And that's Robin Lloyd and Yvonne Logan. And Yvonne is from St. Louis, and she had a remarkable career, and one of the things that she did was start a baby tooth collection to send into the scientists to see the effect of the radiation on children, and it grew into a huge study, and of course led us down another path of trying to understand the implications of our actions. So she and Robin were both the reasons that really financially we still exist in this world. So I wanted to just say in my memory of her that she still lives with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Seeing some other names in the chat being called out, WILPF women that inspire us: Mary Beth Gardam, Rose Deitzman, Loretta Freeman, Ellie Gattoni, Maggie Rollins, Sherry Hutchison, Robin Lloyd, I love it. Rhoda Norman, Eileen Hernandez, Lorraine Honig, Hazel Gross, and I see Cindy, you have your hand up, and then Nuri.
I just wanted to call out Nancy Price. Nancy has been such a tremendous inspiration to me for a number of years now. I got in touch with her as a member of Veterans for Peace, Climate Crisis, and Militarism Project when we were looking for signatories to a letter for our government officials on climate. And Nancy helped me get signatures from all the different WILPF groups in the United States and several beyond, including the women in Afghanistan. It was just fabulous. But over the years that I've known Nancy and seen her at work, her range of experience, her deep knowledge, her loving compassion, her ability to speak to extemporaneously about almost anything you want to ask about. The role that she played in the conference that we just had, just across the board. I cannot say enough wonderful things about Nancy. And she brought me to WILPF, where I got to see what many of you do. And I just had to join because I'm so inspired by this incredibly wonderful, diverse organization. And I thank you very, very much for all of these years and decades, for what you have done for peace, for justice, and for women in this country and beyond. I just don't even have words for it. But thank you very, very much. And Nancy and WILPF too, all of you, WILPF US. Thank you.
Oh, that was so beautifully said. Thank you, Cindy. Gonna name a couple more out and then pass to Nori. In the chat, I've got Nell Epperin, Sophie Pan, and I think Ellen's mother in New Jersey. And yes, of course, Nancy Price. And over to you, Nori. Trying to find the unmute button. Yeah. There we go. Oh,
Wait.
there you go.
Go ahead. Okay. And the good news is that we just organized Iranian section of WILPF that we got help from even the government of Iran, and we got help from here. And I'm so excited. We are going again back to Iran to expand it, the number of people joining WILPF. And Adilia Karavaka, previous international president, had been with us, helping us. And I love you all. And this is beautiful. This is unbelievable. We are much stronger than any of them up there. We will win, for sure. Long live WILPF, long live Palestine, and I love you all.
Oh, Nori, that's gorgeous. I can hear the emotion in your voice. Thank you so much for showing up. I'm going to read a few more names, and then I'm going to throw to Dee, Mary Beth, Robin. So in the chat, we're calling out some other amazing WILPF women: Jean Wagner, Sadie Hewley, Ann Powers, Marguerite Coyle, Miriam Thompson, Charlotte Adams, Tan Schwab, Lucy Straley, many Triangle members who are tireless activists. And over to you, Dee.
That is one of the toughest questions I've faced in a very long time. I mean, let's put it this way. Since I joined WILPF around 2020, 2021, I've met some, I'm just blown away because everyone, I jumped in, I volunteered on several different committees, and every committee I've been on, I meet amazing WILPF women. And I mean, there are some women you think, well, I'm not sure about this one. And then you find out there's this incredible history of like passionate activism behind them. So that's something that's been an eye-opener. It's been inspirational. It keeps me motivated. I will give special credit to Barbara Nielsen as one of the first people to reach out to me and just spend time just saying, hi, you're new, how can I help you? And this is what you've joined. And she knows like the back of her hand, like everything that we saw in the video, she was able to recite to me on the phone, which really opened my eyes and made me realize what an incredible organization this is and really want to work to be a part of it and contribute in so many different ways. But everyone that's been mentioned, it was amazing working with Nancy Price on the Congress. I mean, she was just a force to be reckoned with, and I can't say enough good things about her as well. But like I said, I can look at the screen right now, and they're just amazing women that I've worked with in different aspects, and I've seen different, contributions from, and want to thank everyone.
Thank you, Dee. That was gorgeous. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad Barbara called you and like
Glad you're here too.
stayed. Yeah. And thank you, Barbara. Gonna read it a couple more names before I pass on to Mary Beth and then Robin. Rose Datesman, Janet Fitch, honor and memory, Rose Salaman, some more names, of course, Emily Greenwald, of course, Jane Addams, and again, some other names that we've already heard, Robin, Ellen, Mary Beth, Cheryl, Spencer, Nancy, Annette and Joan Robertson, Mary Lamb, Pam Richard, Carol Poth. And I'm going to pause and I'm going to throw it to Mary Beth, who's next in line, and then to Robin.
Thanks, Linda. I've told this story a few times before, but I don't know how many here have heard it, so I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that in 2009 at our Congress in Des Moines, the president of the university where we were holding our Congress addressed us to welcome us. It usually happens that way. He got up and he said, he introduced himself, he welcomed us to the campus, and he said, "WILPF, I know who you are." And we kind of all sat back and said, what's he talking about? He said, "I know who you are because I started life as a union organizer in St. Louis. And as a young man, we were putting together a voter registration event, and WILPF women were co-sponsoring it with us. And the door opened, and a whole bunch of threatening government guys came in with overcoats and hats and started to ask us questions about what we were doing and who we were and what authority we had. And the woman sitting next to me just reached over. She could see how nervous I was. I was starting to sweat. She put her hand on my head and she said, "Don't worry, honey. We're well within our rights here. They can't do anything to stop us." He said, "WILPF, I know who you are."
I love that, Mary Beth. Thank you. Another shout out in the chat is to Eileen Krakowski. Yes, Eileen. And I'm going to throw to Robin and then Judy.
Okay, well, this is wonderful to be with all of you and hear your words and thoughts and the whole tape that was prepared. I'd like to honor Marilyn Clement. Now, she was executive director of US WILPF from 94 to 97. I just looked it up. I think that's right. And so that was during the time of the peace train. So she worked with Betsy Lockbuehler, and this was a huge job. And she won over a lot of US people who were able to pay their way, and that helped pay the way for some other people. So, we were just honoring the peace train at the CSW this year. It was the 30th anniversary of the peace train, and I wish she was around with us to celebrate that. But she did one other thing. She developed a tour. I mean, she had a good concept for ideas that would galvanize people, but this one backfired with some folks. It was a drug tour with women from both sides of the war on drugs, both ways in which women have been injured by the war on drugs. First of all, the women who grow the stuff in Colombia, and some of them are then what are called mules, bringing the drugs to the United States, and in the same way, women here. And so who get addicted, or whose husbands are addicted. Anyway, it was a tour of women from both sides of the supply and demand side of the drug phenomenon. And That was a very fascinating tour. It was short-lived. Some people on the board didn't like it, and I think Marilyn lost her job shortly thereafter. But anyway, I hold her high as a really remarkable person in WILPF.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Robin. All these stories, they're so bigger than any single person. Thank you for sharing them. I'm going to call out some more names before I pass to you, Judy. Again, this is in response to the question of WILPF women that inspire you. I see Dee wrote George Friday, Martha Collins, Shilpa Pandey, Eileen Krakowski again, Jeneve Brooks, Ellen Schwartz, Rookie Guard Diamond, Ellen Thomas. Phew, my fingers are tired. Chris Wilbeck, Laura Dewey, Darren DeLue, Richie Guard Diamond again, Day Steps, Philip Cole, Cheryl again. And then I'm going to pause here and pass back to Judy. Over to you, Judy.
I'm a member of the Palo Alto Peninsula branch. I joined in the 60s, coming up from Ohio to California. And this is not one of my branch members, but in the 90s, I published a book, and this is Lisa Calvillage, Joan Goddard branch in San Jose. She was a young woman during the World War II, and she married a GI and came to the US. And she promised her family and herself that she would never be silent again. She was too young during the terrible World War II. But one of the things that she did as a branch member was arrested, went to jail briefly, but everyone was pardoned. They went to a place in San Jose area where the napalm ships were launched. The napalm was brought in, and they found a place where they were loading the tankers that were going out, and they stood in front so they couldn't. And they were arrested. And interestingly enough, well, they were sent to trial. And the judge finally said, what you have done is, when there's a dangerous thing, it's a law. If you see a danger, something to happen, like a swimming pool door ajar and a child going towards a pool, or a dog charging on a civilian, a police dog, you take action. So they stopped temporarily the napalm shipments going out of an area near San Jose. And she said, I promised myself when I saw a wrong, I would right it. I would work on it. And I met her daughter at one of our vigils. And she said, thank you for remembering my mother. Lisa Calvillage, German citizen, teenager, WILPFer.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to drop the mic. I just got chills. I can see people's faces. I think a lot of us maybe did. We've got.
And I also started an archive of records of our WILPF branch at Stanford University's Archive of Recorded Sound. And we have, Joan, we have interviews with San Jose branch as well as our branch and other individuals. So it lives on, even in little books.
Amazing. Thank you, Judy. Some more names have been typed into the chat in response to, WILPF women, people that inspire you. See Rowan Fairgrove, Sylvia Metzler, Marlena Santoya, Diane Blay, Cheryl Spencer, Joan Goddard, Kathy Kelly, Margot Shelter, I'm sorry, I know I've missed a few names. I was trying to track and keep up, but we now have sort of 8 minutes together before we're going to close off. And I think I'd like to ask one more question before I start to shut this after party down. And I wanted us to look to the future. What do you love about WILPF? What do you want to keep loving about WILPF? What does WILPF look like in the future for you? What do you want us to do together? That is a huge question.
This is Barbara Nielsen. I would like us to figure out creative ways of engaging people of younger generations than mine. I grew up, I graduated high school in the 60s. Many of us did, or around then. We have an amazing program at the Commission on the Status of Women at the United Nations called the Practicum in Advocacy for Students. I would love us to figure out ways to enlarge that program and incorporate it through branches and bring those students back afterwards so that we welcome them as active members of WILPF, because that's how we're going to continue us. Those of us who are getting old are going to continue to get old and and then die, you know? So we need young people, and it would be great for us to figure out a way to get that done in the next decade at the latest.
Well, Barbara, first of all, I have so much to learn from every one of you and your wisdom, and your wish is music to my ears, because I don't know if Shelby is still on the line here. Shelby is our field organizer, and Shelby and I are working together to create something called Young WILPF.
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, more to come on that. Maybe when we get together the next time, we'll have more information on that. But stay tuned, and thank you for thank you for wishing for that, because it just validates the work we're going to do together. And I see Tina's hand up.
Yes, I'm going to say sisterhood. Sorry, forgot your first question, but my answer was sisterhood. And what do I want to see? Nothing less than the transformation of our world. That's it.
Oh, I love it. Aim big. Yeah. And the question was, what do you love about WILPF?
Yes, I love the sisterhood.
Yeah. Any other sort of last minute, or not last minute, we have 5 minutes left together, thoughts about what you love about WILPF and what you want for the future of WILPF, the future of, you know, the shared planet that we own,
I don't know if my speech is on, but the Young WILPF is an international program.
Yes, and we're going to replicate it in the States. Well,
that's
it's our
wonderful.
goal. Yeah,
our
it's our
branch
goal.
Needs that.
Yeah, so I'm planting the seed. Going to need everyone to step up and help. But yes, that's our goal. Thank you, Judy. And I see, Regina, you have your hand up.
Yeah, we all should be calling Senator Markley's office and thanking him as a member of the Senate for sharing some greetings with us. He is such an important person in, I mean, so many of the issues that WILPF works on, but particularly, you know, nuclear disarmament and other things. So if you're a constituent, you can send them an email, but if you're not, you have to give them a call. But a lot of us work with him, and so this is a great opportunity to call and thank him and remind him of the issues that are important to us. Little political message.
It wouldn't be a WILPF event without it, right? I mean, we're just waiting for it. Thank you for stepping up.
Agreed.
Well,
Agreed.
I want to say, okay, seeing lots of good conversation in the chat. Also want to shout out Mary Beth. You are such a superstar hustler, keeping us, reminding us that Well, I want to say love makes the world go around, and you keep us grounded and say money makes the world go around, and it's what makes our work possible. Thank you for all the fundraising, for reminding us that that's what makes it possible to do our work. And I have one more comment, and I know you put a link in the chat that I'm going to share before I close, but I see one more hand. I see Sheila Harper, Greater Philadelphia branch.
Yes. Hi. Congratulations, Wolf. I, in the future, would love to see, as I'm beginning to see now, the ongoing diversity, the mere fact of yourself, Linda, along with Shilpa, along with Martha. I want to see the diversity continue to grow because all of us are women, okay? Regardless of what creed or religion or whatever, and we all have things that we need to accomplish as a group. So I think the idea of seeing WILPF diversified in the way that it is, I'd also, even though I know that, there might be some, criticisms, but quite frankly, Teresa recruited me. And I think that her vision of WILPF's ongoing diversity is critical in order for all of us to be able to move forward. So that's all I wanted to say. But I had to definitely deal with that because I feel as though it's really important.
Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you.
Appreciate your warm welcome. And yes, I share, and I think many of us, or all of us, share this commitment to diversity, representation, wow, okay, the party's going to keep going, but I'm with you on that, and thank you. And I see, Eileen, you put your hand up. And I know you're looking for your unmute.
Yeah, I've been listening to Gloria Steinem. I forgot, I put the fuzz back on in the background. This woman keeps on saying, because she worked with a lot of Black women as she went around the country and the world, talking about feminism, talking about the issues of oppression and other things that are affecting females. She says the two biggest things that have to be worked on at the same time are racism and sexism. And she's gotten me convinced that we have to work really, really fast on this right now. And they've taken us well, I was part of that generation, but we've come a long way, baby, but we're not going to slide back. So that's my little message for tonight.
Eileen, I think that is the perfect way to end our time together this evening. We are not going back, baby. If this is like a social media hashtag we're not going back, at Eileen Kurkowski. And with that said, everybody, thank you so much for spending the past 2 hours with us. It's 7 o'clock for me, 10 o'clock for some of you. I wish I could have all of us in the room together and hug every single one of you. And I look forward to the day that I can, and that we can give each other a big embrace. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Happy anniversary, Will.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
And save the chat.
Happy anniversary. Woo!
Thank you, Ellen Thomas. Thank you, everybody who did text.
Everyone who worked.
Congratulations.
Did everybody hear me? Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead, Ellen.
Save the chat.
Oh my gosh, that's hard to do now.
Let's have weekly peace vigil.
Wow.
Weekly peace vigil. We have weekly peace vigil.
Weekly peace vigil.
We do
Yes,
Friday.
Every Friday, 5 to 6, we have peace vigil. Every branch of WILPF can have peace vigil. WILPF together can open a school. We should open a school for young children. We can. I'm willing to help.
Yes.
My daughter has
Also starting a peace camp
Yes.
our
Yes.
children and going into the schools as
Yes.
soon as you can. And our
Yes.
branch does a Friday vigil. It's often quite small, but rowdy.
Yes.
We don't, it's a silent vigil. Our signs are rowdy
25 people every week. They come
every
for
week.
Thank
every
you,
week.
everybody. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank
Take
you.
care,
Thank
everyone.
you all.
See you next
Thank you.
time.
Have a good night, everyone.